Hey, I don't know who need to hear this, man, but, no, I'm lying. Hey, Gucci man, LaFleur, you went and signed 100 from Memphis, Tennessee to try to antagonize Gotti all because he your wife.
Now I'm gonna go bang his girl.
I had already done that.
Oh, okay. So you banged your partner's girl?
Damn, guy, man. You ain't my friend, man.
Then you dropped them and killed Pooh.
You know it's almost like a whole show in the industry right now, but when I look at my P&L and me being a businessman, I think that I'm gonna have to release almost all my artists, except for Pooh Shiesty and Fujiano.
And not Gotti done took Pooh Shiesty from you.
I'm the biggest, ain't no CEO or OG over me. I'm CEO.
Hey, Gucci LaFleur, they say when you get married, man, you supposed to always keep your wedding ring on. My bad, Gucci. You don't know where yours is.
Lobbies and gentlegrams, Gucci Mane Mr. 2 Icy robbed by Pookie. Now they saying Pooh Shiesty? If not in the physical form, then in the residual issues. Contract split through CMG in 1017. Pooh pit 2 titans head to head over the cheese. See, Pooh's sitting nicely at the top of the chart, signed under Gucci Mane, who still wants to profit off of the art. But Pooh had a change of heart and things had started to get dark, robbing rumors and internet assumers putting Gucci as the target. Let's unpack the situation, top to bottom, nothing vacant. But before we get to breaking, you know what I'm about to say. Squeeze those like and subscribe buttons like Gucci Mane's lemonade.
I study rap
Aholics
for a living.
October 6, 2025. Pooh Shiesty is released from federal prison after serving around 3 years of a 63-month sentence related to a 2020 shooting incident in Florida. It took Pooh Shiesty a couple months to actually make his first statement, but when he did, it accomplished a couple important things for hip-hop fans. Number one, it let the world know that in a sea of mediocrity, half-baked albums from hip-hop's biggest street rappers and trap artists, Pooh had surpassed them all with just one song. And all he did was keep it authentic and talk about what was going on in his everyday life. Another important thing he proved to the world is that bars still matter. I mean, this was just a 4-minute song of him straight rapping and it still went to #1 on the charts. That's a very impressive look for an artist within a genre that everyone is saying is losing its mainstream dominance. I mean, he was even beating out Mariah Carey on Christmas. But when you dig deeper into the song, fans had noticed some interesting aspects about Pooh Shiesty's return. On the song, he's got bars like, "Grandma told me keep the grass low, whole time, I'm the snake." But even darker than that, he's got a bar where he raps, "Type influence I got where I'm from, I got Yo Gotti toting a Drake." A Drake being slang for Draco and Pooh Shiesty being signed to Gucci Mane, who has a long history of not really getting along with Yo Gotti.
And when I said Gotti was cool until he turned into a buster.
People couldn't tell if Pooh Shiesty was either dissing Yo Gotti here or dissing Gucci Mane, because the bar could be interpreted in two ways. Are you riding with Gucci and you have so much influence where you're from that Yo Gotti needs a Draco on him for protection, or is this your way of saying that even, legends in Memphis like Yo Gotti are influenced by you? Kind of as a way to pay him homage. Why would Pooh Shiesty on his first day out song start rapping about a guy who is beefing with the guy that Pooh Shiesty is signed to? It didn't necessarily make sense, but it does once we unpack it. See, another thing that fans found weird is that when Pooh Shiesty got released, he linked up with Glorilla in the studio, and they were previewing new music.
Let's go.
This is also a little strange because Glorilla is signed to Yo Gotti's record label, CMG. So it's unlikely that on that first day out song, Pooh Shiesty was dissing Yo Gotti, because here he is, right as he comes out, linking up with Yo Gotti's artists. Now on the surface, you can look at this and say it's just an innocent collaboration between two of the biggest artists in mainstream hip-hop right now. But when you look deeper at everything that has happened between Yo Gotti and Gucci Mane, and what we now know about Pooh Shiesty and his own father being locked up for allegedly robbing Gucci Mane.
Hey, Gucci LaFleur, I grew up around my granddad and them, bro. They say when you get married, man, you supposed to always keep your wedding ring on. My bad, Gucci. You don't know where yours is.
It becomes apparent that link up was probably one of many calculated tactics to essentially put Gucci Mane in a compromised position. And this is just the beginning. Things could get dark. But in order to understand that, we gotta understand why it would be such a slap in the face to Gucci Mane for Pooh Shiesty to even slightly associate himself with anything related to Yo Gotti.
Some of the stupidest shit the street done heard in a minute. This shit is needed, you know what I'm talking about? It's needed.
I'm telling you now, they charge you for that. I'm cooking it for you. I cook it for you now. I got to charge you.
That work.
That work. That works, man. Hey, drop a whole shipment on nigga. Boom, go ahead.
Before Gucci Mane and Yo Gotti were known as some of the biggest CEOs in their cities, with each of them ushering in tons of new superstars into the game. At one point, it was Yo Gotti and Gucci that were the stars trying to build their own rap careers. Even though they were raised in different cities, Gucci and Gotti had similar come-ups in the streets, and both of them actually started pursuing a rap career at the age of 14 years old. Gotti was first up, releasing independent mixtapes as early as 1996, under the name Lil Yo. So just keep that in mind with all this beefing going on currently today. Yo Gotti is 44 years old.
I'm looking for a victim pushing keys on the scheme. I wanna make a stain for $1 million ride clean. I'm coming out on a Friday and I gotta hit the strip.
It was around 2007 where both Gucci and Gotti started making waves in the mainstream, and they quickly began collaborating with each other quite frequently. First on the song Bricks in 2008. Later that year, in June of 2008, they released a mixtape together called Definition of a G.
Go ahead, man. Hey, what next week? We said we'll put it out by next week. Yo, how'd they say?
Well, he don't take what is wise.
He ain't gonna take that music.
Nah, he ain't gonna take that.
What?
Somebody do the mixtape.
By next week, we said we're going to have it.
So you got Yo Gotti up in there.
Yeah.
Looks like you be f***ing with Yo Gotti kind of hard right there. How y'all link up?
I met him. I think we met downtown at Upstairs Studio. Just made 2 hard ass songs with my first city, Chicken Talk, and just a real nigga, just like Shouter. Like I don't f a lot of niggas in the game, but you know a real nigga when you be around one. You know what I mean? And because it be true talk, you can tell by the tone of voice when he talking the truth. And then even if he talking the truth, he still might not be creative enough to make a song where you want to hear it. There's a lot of factors in there. Why I record with him.
And they collaborated pretty heavily for the next few years, with Gotti even rumored to have potentially signed to Gucci's iconic label 1017 Bricksquad. This was around 2010-2011, but by 2012 they had a problem. See, in October of 2012, on the 17th day of the month to be exact, Gucci Mane was about to release his brand new mixtape, Trap God. See, October's the 10th month of the year, so that release date would make it 1017, the same name as Gucci's label. Now, this was a big project for Gucci just because he caught a big mainstream break in 2009 with his album The State vs. Roger Davis. But after that album, all the way up until the middle of 2011, Gucci Mane would be arrested 5 different times, obviously hindering his actual career. So this was kind of acting like a comeback project for Gucci in a way, and meanwhile, Gotti then announces he's also going to be dropping a project on that day. According to Yo Gotti, he didn't know Gucci was dropping his project on the 17th, but when he found out, he was actually excited that they were both going to release on the same day. He said in an interview, "He's supposed to be my homeboy. I had his phone immediately because I'm thinking, man, we're about to shut it down. Both our projects on the same day." But ultimately, this isn't how Gucci saw it. Yo Gotti says he tried to reach out to talk things through, but Gucci Mane never hit him back or answered any of his calls. Then, right before the release date, Gucci Mane went on Twitter and wrote, "Why would another artist put their mixtape out on 1017 if they're not Bricksquad? You ain't me. Trap God." And once Gotti did get in touch with Gucci, he realized they had a problem and said in another interview, "From that point, I realized homie had an issue for whatever reason." Now, as far as where the issue emerged from Gucci's side of things, he's saying it's because Yo Gotti was not signed to Bricksquad. Gucci was not profiting off of his mixtape, but still he's trying to drop on the same day as Gucci and on a day that's significant to Gucci's brand, Gucci's movement, 1017. He's basically riding Gucci's wave without actually compensating him. That was Gucci's perspective, and he spoke on that in a radio interview, but there's more to the story.
And they're going to think that you're talking crap about Gotti and these other cats. And when
I said Gotti was cool until he turned into a buster.
Right.
So I wasn't saying that we wasn't even cool. I said we was cool until this point right here.
Right. But that's my point.
So what actually happened at that point that you felt like that about Gotti?
My main problem with him was they dropped this mixtape on 1017 and tried to like ride my wave. You know what I'm saying? Like he was an artist of mine and we get some kind of money together. So I just felt like, you know, for an artist to drop their mixtape on 10/17, you know what I'm saying? Which is my label on the day that I drop all my label mates drop their mixtape on 10/17. Why would you drop it if you ain't on 10/17? And when I call you as my partner to ask you why you did, you say, oh, I didn't know you were dropping the mixtape. Now the whole world know I'm dropping this mixtape, I'm promoting this mixtape. But me and you on the top of World Star, you with a freestyle and me with a video, but you say you unaware that this mixtape gonna come, and I got a battle that says come out 10/17.
See, there's always three sides to every story. What one party says, what the other party says, then somewhere in the middle you get the truth. So Gucci's side is that Gotti was trying to ride his wave dropping on the same day, 10/17. Meanwhile, Gotti goes up to the Breakfast Club right after Gucci has that explosive episode on Twitter, which we'll touch on shortly. But Gotti explains in his interview with the Breakfast Club that Gucci's reason for turning on him is because Gotti featured young Jeezy on his remix to the song Got That Sack a couple months before 10/17 in July of 2012. Now, just some quick context if you guys didn't know, Gucci and Jeezy have had a beef since the beginning of time, and a lot of it mirrors what's going on today with Gucci, Pooh Shiesty, and potentially Yo Gotti. For those of you who didn't know, essentially, Gucci and Jeezy actually collaborated on Gucci's first hit, Icy, way back in 2005. Jeezy thought it would be on his debut album, Let's Get It Thug Motivation 101, but instead Gucci used it for his independent album, Trap House, and Jeezy claimed he never got paid for the track. So a couple months later, Jeezy puts a bounty on Gucci Mane's chain, declaring it on the song Stay Strapped, rapping, I got a bounty on that stuff, my guy, 10 stacks. So if you come to your town and you just happen to snatch that mother effer off his neck, I'm gonna shoot you the 10 stack, man, so I can cremate that mother effer.
I want that bullshit. Icy chain. Matter of fact, I got a bounty on that 10 stacks, man.
Gucci would reply just a couple days later, calling Jeezy a B-word on the song Round 1, but the exchange would get a lot more heated than just shots traded back and forth in the studio, because on May 10th, when Gucci was visiting a female friend, 4 men broke into the house and began assaulting him. When the men threatened to shoot him, Gucci grabbed his pistol and started shooting back. After hitting one of the men, everybody fled the scene. And that man ended up being Henry Lee Clark III, better known as the rapper Pookie Loc. Just days later, Gucci Mane turned himself into the police after a warrant was issued for the unaliving of Pookie Loc. Gucci maintained his innocence, and 9 months later, after being charged with murder, Gucci was acquitted since it was self-defense. And years later, even though he went head-to-head with Jeezy in a live versus, he still references this dark incident.
When I extended the invitation, I did it as a real man. Because I
told you straight off the dribble. I told you off the dribble, we can't do nothing if it ain't street. If I can't perform the truth, we can't do it.
It's all good, but let me say my piece. Let me say my piece.
Take off.
Let me say my piece. It's like this, bro. I extended my hand because I'm a real man. And the shit we came from in the street, dog, you seen it, we been through it, dog. 20 years. And when I said I wanted to do this shit for the culture, that's what I wanted to do. I brought you here to show you the world care about what the we got going on, because we are the culture. You feel me? Me and you, where we came from, what we been through. Us, me and you. All these kids out here doing what the fuck they do because they saw what went on with us, dog. So this shit ain't about me, this shit ain't about you. You feel what I'm saying? This shit about King Von, this shit about Dope B, this shit about Nipsey Hussle, this shit about motherfucking Pop Smoke.
Now, the Jeezy beef will play an important role in this story shortly, but for now it's just important to note that Gotti ultimately thought Jeezy didn't mess with him because Gotti had collaborated with Jeezy on a remix to one of his songs. And that would seem like a pretty valid reason, right? Jeezy is probably the biggest rapper in Atlanta at the time, second to Tip, and he's also Gucci's biggest rival. So Gotti, not only just releasing an album on the same day as Gucci, 10/17, also now collaborating with Jeezy, it was all a slap in the face. But Charlemagne, while Gotti was on the Breakfast Club explaining this to the world, some even deeper information was revealed in that Yo Gotti had actually slept with Gucci Mane's current wife, Keisha Kior, before Gucci had married her. And Gotti admitted this in his Breakfast Club interview.
I hit Holmes up, like, because, you know, when you consider somebody a partner, to me, that's the way you, I hit him up, like, what's up with you, Holmes? He like, what you mean, what's up? He didn't even speak about what he tweeted. He was like, oh, man, you put Jeezy and Tip on the Rex remix. Jeezy tried to kill me. Man, you and Holmes been in the same city 28 years, and you just not realizing that?
Then he went to jail, and you started dating Keisha Dior.
Nah, then it was like, to me, I still felt like he was cool, because like, then he got on the radio and said something. that's when it was like, okay, I don't cross that line. Like, it'll never be like we cool no more.
Now I'm gonna go bang his girl.
I had already done that.
Oh, okay. So you banged your partner's girl?
Damn, guy.
You ain't my friend, man.
I ain't know, like, you know, like you in love and all that.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, I'm thinking it ain't nothing like where they about to get married or nothing like that. Like,
so keep in mind, this is now the woman who basically has full access to Gucci Mane's phone, social media, his entire life essentially, to avoid him from doing or saying something he'll regret during a bipolar episode. This is the same woman that held Gucci Mane down when he was doing all of those years in prison. This is his wife. And Yo Gotti, who was supposed to be Gucci Mane's friend, admitted to sleeping with her. Now, before Keisha was doing the whole thing of, you know, taking Gucci's phone, removing his social media so he can't go on there and say something he regrets when he is suffering from a mental health episode, back in 2013 when all this was going down, Gucci didn't have the support like that. So there was one day, most of you guys probably know, where he had that infamous rant on Twitter where he attacked Nicki Minaj, Drake, Rick Ross, and obviously a lot more, right? Like, this was a generational rant. This was Gucci Mane's control verse. Like, the way Kendrick called out all those rappers on that verse, Gucci did the same on Twitter. And obviously Gotti was one of the many rappers that Gucci called out on Twitter around this time. But what's interesting is a couple hours later, he ends up apologizing for the rant. But he only directly apologizes to Birdman, Rick Ross, and Drake. He was incarcerated at the time. He admitted that he was suffering from an addiction to lean. It was a difficult period for him in his life. And he even reflected on it in a book recently, but again, made specific references to certain rappers that he felt he disrespected, but he made no mention of the fact that he disrespected his once close collaborator, Yo Gotti.
I was super embarrassed and hurt by the things I said because, like, I wasn't well then, right? So then I got locked up. So a lot of those people who I was saying stuff to, they were like, they ain't never gonna mess with me no more. Mm-hmm. So even when I got out 3 years later, I still was like, I apologize to Ross, Drake, Nicki, like all them people accepted my apologies. They just don't know it's like a weight off my shoulders because I had been like, because I was wrong. Like, Ross hadn't did nothing but help me. And I said something about
So it makes you think, with Gucci coming out of prison finally by 2016 and being a changed man seemingly, the change being so drastic people even thought he was cloned, you would think that ultimately Gucci and Gotti can put their issues aside. I mean, by 2016, 2017, they're more focused on being CEOs than, you know, rap superstars. So the fact that Gotti was trying to put his mixtape out on 10/17, that should be water under the bridge at this point. At this point also, Gucci seems to be trying to get that water under the bridge with Jeezy, putting their issues aside to actually collaborate on a versus.
20 years. And when I said I wanted to do this for the culture, that's what I wanted to do. I brought you here to show you the world care about what the we got going on, because we are the culture.
So if Gucci's issues with Yo Gotti stem from Yo Gotti putting Jeezy on a remix, then you'd think at this point Gotti and Gucci can bury the hatchet since Gucci and Jeezy are reconciling their differences, right? Well, they never did in the public eye to this day. And remember, there was one other potential reason as to why Gotti and Gucci were beefing in the first place, and that was none other than Keyshia Ka'oir. See, when Gucci got out of jail, that's when Keyshia Ka'oir began standing right by Gucci's side, and they eventually got married. In late 2025, Hernandez Govin, the man who was charged with organizing the daytime ambush killing of Memphis rapper Young Dolph, who also had beef with Yo Gotti, Hernandez was basically found not guilty. And once he was a free man, he ended up sitting down with No Jumper, where he details the history of the beef between Gucci Mane and Yo Gotti. Now, according to Hernandez, Gotti allegedly was possibly sleeping with Gucci's wife while Gucci was locked up. And because of that, their beef could never be squashed. Now, remember that name, Hernandez Govin, because that's going to play an important role with what's going down with Pooh Shiesty today.
I think when they had the issue back in the day about when Gucci had the issue when Gotti was supposed to drop on 10/17. Okay, yeah. And they had a show coming up soon right after Gucci went on the radio or whatever it was and had his rant. And what I was told, Gucci didn't show up to that show because it supposed to have been like immediate smoke after that, and he didn't show up or whatever. But yeah, so you know, if he didn't squash his beef with Yo like he did everybody else, I think it's more so about the girl, his wife, and no disrespect to her, but would you be willing to squash some beef with somebody who had sex with your wife? You know, maybe while you was in prison, I don't know when it was or whatever. Oh Lord, and supposed to be your friend.
But now this is where it gets even crazier. Another Memphis native, Stan G. He also got on a jumper when Pooh Shiesty was locked up. And he didn't just confirm that Gucci Mane and Yo Gotti still had beef, but he said that Gucci was using business war tactics to essentially sign the best talent in Memphis so that Yo Gotti, who's obviously a Memphis native, could now not sign these up-and-coming Memphis artists, but even worse than that, he can no longer collaborate with them, right? Because if they're signed to Gucci, they can't affiliate with Yo Gotti. Gucci was cornering the market. And Stan G says it wasn't just with Gotti. This is the same tactic Gucci used at the height of his beef with Young Jeezy. Because if you guys remember the original 1017 Bricksquad record label, Gucci Mane had every single fire Atlanta up-and-comer under his belt at one point. Did he actually put pen to paper and like sign any of these guys in a real contract? A lot of them no, but check out the Wikipedia page of 1017's roster. Guys, this is insane. Waka Flocka, Yo Gotti himself, Young Thug, Young Scooter, Pee Wee Longway, Chief Keef, Mike Will, Migos, Lil Baby, Soulja Boy, Shawty Low, Metro Boomin, Rich Homie Quan, R.I.P., Bankroll Fresh, R.I.P., Future. Do you see how many Atlanta legends slipped through the cracks and were under Gucci's wing, almost signed to him, but he couldn't get that dotted line? A big part of that was allegedly revenge on Jeezy, where Jeezy can now no longer associate with all of these legends from Atlanta, right? Everyone who was defining the next era of trap music, if they were standing next to Gucci, they couldn't collab with Jeezy. So he's missing out on working with the hottest artists. And same thing did happen with Yo Gotti and Memphis artists when Gucci Mane got out of jail and revamped the new 1017.
This is Stan G, Whack 100's op. Stan G is from Memphis and knows Memphis street politics. He says Gucci Mane is using war tactics on Yo Gotti.
Why you think Gucci dropped the whole label? You think he ain't sitting back waiting on Shiesty and Fujiano? So you don't think there were war tactics? What Gucci was doing, locking down Atlanta, signing everybody in Atlanta when he got into it with Jeezy, locking that city down, got into it with Gotti, signed the whole Memphis. Now they can't mess with him. He signed like 9 artists from Memphis. Everybody he dropped was Memphis artists. It was about that girl, bro. Every time he get into it with something, he locked the city down. Then he went to Memphis and, look, I'm signing all these bulls from Gotti hood. Gotti ain't gonna never mess with them for it because you was already rocking with Gucci before. War tactics get real in the South too.
Fan of anything coming out of Memphis. I think I've been influenced the most by maybe Project Pat more than anybody. It's just all Memphis rappers, Kingpin, Skinny Pimp, Tommy Wright III, 8 Ball and them JG. So when I was hustling, I always was playing Memphis rappers. I felt like they had such an underground scene. That's what I gravitated to, like the most gutter music is what I want to hear.
So the new 1017 featured a lot of Memphis artists, but it was really Pooh Shiesty who kept the lights on at the label. Now, Pooh Shiesty said he had the option when he was coming up to sign under either Yo Gotti or Young Dolph's imprints. And I mean, again, they're the two hottest rappers out of Memphis, and Pooh Shiesty is an up-and-comer from the same city. But ultimately, one night in the middle of the night, Gucci called him, and Pooh Shiesty, knowing that, you know, if he was on CMG, Yo Gotti's label, then he couldn't work with Young Dolph, and same thing vice versa. If he was signed to Young Dolph, he couldn't work with Gotti. He decided to leave Memphis and go sign out in Atlanta to Gucci Mane's 1017.
Now, with you being from Memphis, did Dolph or Gotti reach out since they both from the same area?
Yeah, for sure.
But you never wanted to sign with them, or they just never offered a deal, or it just wasn't the right situation?
Like, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never wanted to sign to nobody. It's just my mentality. And you know, in the city, it's like you gotta sign to either one of them. You gotta be paper out of CMG. So before WAP came out, I'm still Chopper Gang. This is my label. So I wanted to be like, why you can't be signed to Chopper Gang, CMG, or paper route? Then WAP came, boom, perfect sense, you know. One day, he texted me on Instagram. I couldn't believe this shit.
So he just sent you a DM?
Yeah, he texted me, he said, what's up, home? I couldn't believe it. I grabbed my phone, get up. He was like, I'm fucking with your music, home. Who you doing this shit with? I put my clothes on, shoot to Pop's house. Then my manager, I wake his ass. I said, wake up, bro, look. I showed him, he couldn't believe he get the sweat. He said, right then and there, though, while I'm showing him, he texts back. He said, this my number, FaceTime me. I FaceTime him right there. We was on FaceTime for like 6 hours.
Word.
Now, Pooh Shiesty sees success right off the rip. He has a massive top 10 hit with Back in Blood in 2021. He's on the XXL freshman class. He's definitely one of the ones that's next up, and Gucci knows this. And in an attempt to try to build out his label, he also signs Pooh Shiesty's cousin, Big Scar. They definitely had some success in the pandemic days, dropping some hits in late 2020, but by the summer of 2021, Pooh Shiesty is arrested in relation to a shooting at a strip club in Northwest Miami-Dade. He faced 8 years behind bars, and as you guys probably know, he got out about 4 years after this in October of 2025.
Hey, FDO,
Before getting out, Pooh Shiesty faced a massive loss. In 2022, his cousin Big Scar ended up losing his life to an accidental drug overdose. With Pooh Shiesty locked up, his funds tied up, and Gucci Mane having signed both Pooh and his cousin Big Scar, it would make sense that as the owner of the record label that both family members are signed to, Gucci Mane would help put up money for Big Scar's funeral costs. And while that was true to an extent, he did put up $10,000. Scar's sister ended up getting on Instagram saying that this was a slap in the face to the family. Gucci Mane was not supporting them in this time of need, even though Big Scar had made Gucci all that money. And what's even worse is she says that Gucci Mane asked that they give back the chain that Gucci gave to Big Scar.
Oh my mama, he not getting them chains back. Before anyone get to speaking on some shit they don't know about, yes, he asked for the chains back. And no, he not getting them hoes back. My brother earned this. My brother mean everything to us. And for him to do him like that is low down as F. He said he couldn't pay for the funeral because his wife's birthday coming up. Nigga, you a millionaire. Gucci, a B-I-T-C-H. Gotta get it back in blood. Then they say, sorry to hear that. F Gucci.
Real, you post this guy talking about some long live him, bro. You ain't do nothing, cuz, on God. And you ain't getting them chains, cuz. You can't get them chains. There's no way you can get them chains. The minute that them folk called your phone to see if you gonna pay for the funeral, you blocked them. That's not real, cuz. On God, that's not real. I thought Gucci was rich too. Ha, fooled all us.
Funeral paid for. That 10K went toward flowers. Flowers high. We still got a casket. He getting cremated. He getting put up in a museum. Bitches would not be able to walk on my brother's grave. He ain't getting put in no ground. He ain't getting buried with no chains. He not getting them chains back. Period. At the end of the day. Receipts that Annabelle uploaded. For the bill. And on receipts. Like I said, we on the receipt 10,000. What the other 10 is, I don't know. But yeah. Yeah. I'm at work with my feet up, making boxes. That 10K ain't did shit but buy obituaries and flowers, boo. This shit ain't here with no obituaries and flowers, boo. 10K ain't shit. My brother was way more worth, baby. My brother worth more than 10K. Quit playing with me. Quit playing with me. Yeah, Gucci son 10,000, and it was somebody else on another 10. So it was 20,000 in all.
So on the surface, for a while, things seemed like business as usual. However, like I showed you guys before, there were subtle shoutouts to Yo Gotti on Pooh Shiesty's First Day Out song. And again, Yo Gotti is the one rapper out of the laundry list of rappers that Gucci Mane has had prior issues with that Gucci has never publicly reconciled with. Simultaneously, we never saw Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane publicly together since Pooh got released from prison. But we did see him link up with Yo Gotti's artist Glorilla. But here's where things got darker. In early January, remember the name Hernandez Govin, one of the defendants in the Young Dolph murder trial and the individual who had made the bold claim that Yo Gotti had slept with Gucci Mane's wife. He got on Instagram and said that Gucci Mane had been kidnapped and robbed in order to release Pooh Shiesty from his 1017 record label contract. And he claimed that in the process, Gucci had been robbed for his own wedding ring.
Hey, I don't know who need to hear this, man, but, no, I'm lying. Hey, Gucci Mane, LaFleur, you went and signed 100 from Memphis, Tennessee to try to antagonize Gotti all because he f***ed your wife. Then you dropped them and killed Pooh. And not got it and took Pooh Shiesty from you. How I feel to have a Memphis nigga, man, take your wife and your #1 artist. You gotta tighten up, Gucci. All that goofy you were doing. Signing 100 from Memphis, Tennessee. You ain't never heard the mixtape. Just signing it. We're trying to antagonize. And you know we know about the other shit that just happened too. Yeah, we're gonna run that later on though, Gucci. Real shiesty around here, I see. Hey, y'all pray for Gucci, man, cause just about to break. Crazy. Hey, Gucci. Hey, Gucci LaFleur, you know I grew up around my granddad and them, bro. They say when you get married, man, you supposed to always keep your wedding ring on. Always keep your wedding. My bad, Gucci. You don't know where yours is. Hey, check this out, man. This message for you is in my inbox asking me to take my video down. Man, you need to be trying to call your and get her to take her ad down our back page, man. And you got a better chance of marrying Oprah Winfrey before I take it down, man. I won't give a where you was from. South Memphis, North Memphis, Orange Mound, Atlanta, Memphis, Oregon. They don't give a fuck. It ain't a nigga breathing that can muzzle me. The only nigga that could call me and ask me to take it down is Wack 100. And cause I know Wack fuck with Gucci. Nigga. And the only reason why I do it for Wack, cause I know he'll do it for me. Nigga. But other than that, nigga breathe. God ain't create a nigga that could call me and tell me to do a thing. See, the difference between me and the other niggas is you niggas soft. And you niggas be scared of a collision. I ain't. So find something else to do, bro. Cause I run this social media. Hey, this for you in the comments, man, to act like you got an ice cream cone on your face. Talking about I need to be scared of Gucci. I'm worried about Charleston white pepper spraying me.
Now here's where things get weird. So around this time when people start reporting that Gucci Mane allegedly got robbed by Pooh Shiesty, Gucci Mane actually deletes his Welcome Home Pooh Shiesty post off of Instagram. Simultaneously, Pooh Shiesty, who had not really been teasing a new album on the way ever since he got released from prison, after this alleged altercation took place, he now starts teasing new music on the way. Again, remember, all the reports were saying that they robbed Gucci Mane so that Gucci would let Pooh Shiesty out of his contract. So around this time, it's possible Pooh Shiesty thinks he's a free agent. And he's posting the hashtag album mode on his Instagram, along with previews of new music. And notice in the comments, you see someone by the name of CEO Big 30 had left a comment on the post. So a couple weeks go by, we don't hear anything of this, but keep in mind, Pooh Shiesty is on probation. He's only been free for a couple of months and already fans start noticing weird things going on, like him doing a live stream driving around Dallas with Ben the Don, and he gets a call from his probation officer, allegedly, and tells her that he's at home.
Hello? Yeah, you Trey Williams. Yeah, I'm at the house. All right. You sign me out?
Tommy got motion with that son. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Just go, kid.
Mm-hmm.
On the parking lot.
Right, the parking lot.
Oh, my right. Oh, you?
No.
All right.
Smart with that motherfucker, so appreciate it.
You said what? Yes, I am. Yes, I am, man. Check it again. That's where I live at. That's where I live at. Refresh it. That's where I live at. Look, I ain't lying to you. I ain't playing no game.
You can meet the joint right now,
I don't want to play like that.
So obviously Pooh Shiesty, he was on home confinement, right? One of the terms of his probation is obviously he cannot commit another offense. Keep in mind, in that clip I just played you guys, he's riding around in Dallas. Well, by March 30th, 2026, a criminal complaint is filed in the Northern District of Texas, where Pooh Shiesty, along with 8 other co-defendants, are charged with kidnapping and conspiracy to commit kidnapping. Gucci Mane himself is listed as one of the victims in the complaint under his initials RD. His real name is Roderick Davis. A U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Texas had done a press conference explaining the situation in more detail. He claims that, like we had heard back in January, Pooh Shiesty and his entourage really did go meet up with Gucci Mane in a studio in Dallas, flash a firearm in his face in attempt to scare him to sign his release so that Gucci Mane would no longer own Pooh Shiesty as an artist. And while this was going down, they also robbed him of his jewelry. And of course, this wasn't a solo mission. The U.S. attorney claims that Pooh Shiesty's father had actually been there with him, along with fellow Memphis rapper Big 30, the same artist who had commented under Pooh Shiesty's post when he started teasing his new album right after this incident allegedly went down.
I'm Ryan Rabel, I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. Thank you for coming. This week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas. 8 of the 9 were arrested yesterday in Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. These individuals who are charged and arrested include Lontrell Williams Jr., also known as Pooh Shiesty, Lontrell Williams Sr., Rodney Wright Jr., also known as Big 30, Kadarius Waters, Demarion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, Darian McDaniel, and Terrence Rogers has not been arrested yet, but will be soon. The complaint alleges that on January 10th of this year, 3 music industry professionals traveled to Dallas for a scheduled business meeting. Lontrell Williams Jr. arranged this meeting purportedly to discuss the terms of his recording contract with one of the victims. As alleged, once these 3 men were inside the recording studio, Williams Jr. and 8 co-conspirators, several of whom traveled from Memphis, Tennessee, executed a coordinated armed takeover. As alleged, Williams Jr. produced an AK-style pistol and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint. The remaining conspirators displayed firearms and robbed the other victims of Rolex watches, jewelry, cash, and other high-value items. One of the victims was actually choked by one of the defendants to the point of near unconsciousness. Defendant Wright barricaded the studio door with his body to prevent the victims from escaping. The ringleader of the conspiracy, Lontrell Williams Jr., was on home confinement at the time of the offense, as alleged, for a prior firearms conspiracy charge and conviction out of the Southern District of Florida. Towards the end of his prison sentence, he had been granted home detention. Part of the terms of his home detention were that he would not commit another federal offense or possess a firearm. His father, Lontrell Williams Sr., is alleged to have helped plan and execute the federal kidnapping as charged in the complaint. And as described further in the complaint, within hours of leaving the Dallas studio, a number of the defendants were on social media displaying some of the items that appeared to be the jewelry that had been robbed from the victims.
So after this, Hernandez Govin, again, the same guy who had first really broke this story when it allegedly occurred back in January, he calls up DJ Akademiks and he gives more detail into what had actually went down, allegedly on the day that this happened. He confirms that while Pooh Shiesty may have been planning on taking his talents to Yo Gotti's label, Yo Gotti didn't have anything to do with this attack. And he believes Pooh Shiesty's intention or his thought behind committing this crime is that Gucci would never tell the authorities that he was forced to sign these release papers. So Pooh would be able to get what he wanted by Suge Knight style forcing Gucci to sign his release papers. Meanwhile, he believed Gucci would never snitch and say that he was forced to do so. The problem here is that one of these security guards that was with Gucci Mane was actually an undercover cop. So no matter what, he's forced to recount whatever he sees goes down when he's at the scene of a crime.
Before the shit was over with, Gucci said, he looked up and said, after he signed the papers and they made him sign the papers, he said, damn, y'all know this ain't how this shit go. We still gotta go to the lawyers. And motherfucker told him, man, you gotta shut your up for a nigga shoot you on GP.
Oh, shit. Oh, no. That's actually true. So with release papers, because I was even thinking, like, if I'm Gucci, I just put a unrecognizable signature. That's something I could shoot down later to say that doesn't match the rest of my signatures, right?
But you know, if you sign something, if somebody is forcing you to sign something under duress, it's not gonna hold up in the court of law anyway.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think they was looking at it like Gucci would be a bitch to come out and say, "Yo, don't let him out the contract because he had a gun to me." So it was just gonna go to like
they was gonna go on. They was gonna go off of that. You know what I'm saying? You know. So I get it. You know. But and again, when people were saying Gotti had something to do with it, like they can't know Yo because
is that a direct quote though?
What?
So you're saying they're pointing a gun at him. He's signing these papers, and he said this is not how it goes. And the nigga says, "Man, you better shut your bitch ass up before we shoot."
Shoot you on shoot you on GP. That was said. This how bad they disrespected him, man. Man, they went in his ear and took his earrings out, unscrewed him.
No, what?
Man, treated him like a real unscrewed him.
They unscrewed the earrings.
Unscrewed the earrings, nigga. If I tell you a duck, you pull a truck, hook that motherfucker up.
So they took earrings, they took the wedding band off. Did Gucci take the wedding band off himself?
Yeah,
or did they rip it off his face? I'm wondering how physical they got with Gucci.
Hey, Gucci follow instructions real well under pressure.
I mean, shit, I would too. I would too.
Some of you guys might know Seti Nash. He's another dope YouTuber. He was another individual who broke this story very early on back in January, but he had told it a little differently. He said that Pooh Shiesty was not actually at the scene of the crime. However, Gucci Mane was robbed specifically by individuals who had the goal of forcing Gucci to release Pooh out of his contract. Seti now says that basically he had just said Pooh wasn't on the scene of the crime to not implicate Pooh Shiesty into this because, of course, again, he's on probation. But now that the cat's out of the bag, the full complaint has been filed, which we'll review shortly. Seti gives the full, honest recap, at least from his perspective, of what allegedly went down. And he does a good job at kind of giving a more firsthand view of what really happened. Again, he's one of the very few individuals who had initially broke this story way back in January.
Gucci goes in the studio. This is all on camera. I thought I got rid of this shit. I apparently didn't. So there's that. I tried. I fucking tried, bro. I tried. Did my damnedest. All you bloggers, y'all bloggers. Y'all not, I'm really in these streets, bro. The video is going to reveal this nigga Big 30. Mind you, the feds already have all this shit. They had it for over a month now. Pooh Shiesty over here antagonizing shit. I'll tell you about that later. So, Gucci walk in the damn studio, bro, with his people to Draco's. The footage is going to show Pooh Shiesty had one on him. Big 30 had one on him. Only person who really gonna escape from this is the Pops. The Pops did not want none of this to go on. Nigga like this, bro. Gucci look at the dad like the Pops just head down. You can't tell your son nothing right now. Your son the number one right now. You gonna sign this? Sign the damn papers. And we need that. Wedding ring. Watch. Come up out that. The person who closed the door is Big 30. He got his Draco. That's why they put the warrant out for him. This is all on camera, so nothing I'm telling y'all ain't shit that the feds don't know. A lot of y'all gonna be like, oh, bro, this fair work. It really ain't. I tried to say the nigga by saying he wasn't there. Saying he left and then these cats did whatever they did. I tried to get the jewelry. By the time I get to Dallas, these niggas had already left. It's a whole rumor out there. It's gonna come out later. It is what it is. I'm not gonna confirm or deny anything, but I will tell y'all this. I was about this close. But the people who had the jewelry, they on paranoia mode. And I get it. So I ain't even mad at that one. Now, there's certain details I'm not gonna put out because obviously it is what it is. I'll plead the fifth all day. I don't give a shit. They don't know nothing anyways. I know who knows what, and I know more than what the hell I'm letting on. But it is what it is. So they do that shit. They leave. Gucci Mane pissed, confused, hurt. Gucci say nothing. The cameraman and the little homie are running through everywhere doing this. They telling people, give me 5,000, I'll break the whole story to you. Give me 3,000, I'll break the whole story to you. Hey, I got the footage, bruh. Y'all can break the story. Y'all can have nobody, and I'm proud of the industry for this. It's literally some people who ain't street at all that could have had that footage and said, hell no, we ain't touching that. So behind the scenes, they've been trying to give this damn footage up.
So what he's saying here basically is that Gucci Mane had been in the studio during this altercation with a cameraman. And if you guys look it up, I'm not going to show it on screen here, but there's actually pictures in the complaint that the U.S. government had filed against Pooh Shiesty and those 8 other co-defendants, where you can see pictures of the cameraman's injuries during this altercation. And apparently the cameraman had the footage of this whole event going down, and he was trying to sell that footage behind the scenes, but said he claims that no one in the industry wanted anything to do with it. He also claims that the only person who will probably get off scot-free is going to be Pooh Shiesty's father, who again was there, but said he is claiming he didn't approve of this, but he couldn't tell his son no. And this was Pooh Shiesty who had orchestrated, been a part of, and had the idea for this entire plan to go down. Now, whether or not someone has the specific footage of this incident happening, that's what said he claims. We don't know that for a fact. But as far as what the government has on any of these defendants currently, well, Pooh Shiesty's father and Big 30 had a hearing on Saturday, and a special agent from the FBI had took the stand and actually said that they did not have hard evidence of Pooh Shiesty's father or Big 30 possessing a gun or threatening anyone. No video surveillance, no concrete evidence right now to pit these 2 individuals as guilty of this crime. Right now, it's all just probable cause. And again, this is not Pooh Shiesty, this is his father and Big 30, who were also allegedly at the scene of the crime.
New development tonight in the arrest of Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty. He and 8 others are charged with kidnapping rapper Gucci Mane. Shiesty's father, Lontrell Williams Sr., and another Memphis rapper known as Big 30 appeared in federal court today. Action News 5's Caitlin Miller was in the courtroom in downtown Memphis. So Caitlin, fill us in. What happened today?
Yeah, Joyce, so they're actually still in there, but what I can tell you is that a special agent from the FBI, Marcellus Hobbs, from the Dallas Violent Crimes Task Force, took the stand, and defense attorneys for Lontrell Williams Sr., Pooh Shiesty's father, and Rodney Wright Jr., also known as rapper Big 30, asked Hobbs a key question. Is there any hard evidence, like video surveillance, showing either man possessing a gun or threatening anyone? And Hobbs said no. He also testified that no concrete evidence was found in Wright's car or Williams' homes when they were arrested. But even so, the judge ruled there is still probable cause for both men and all defendants who appear today based on cell phone data, outside surveillance video, and victim statements that stand uncontested. Right now, we're still waiting for the detention decision, so we're watching to see whether they'll be held or released as we move forward.
Now, this is not for me in particular to start dissecting, but a lot of people are talking about the fact that within the complaint against Pooh Shiesty, his father, Big 30, and others, it does specifically say that RD, aka Roderick Davis, aka Gucci Mane, that's Gucci Mane's initials, that's his full name, they actually identified Big 30 as being present during the attack. So while the FBI has no hard evidence that, Big 30 was actually there, there's no video surveillance footage of him with a firearm or threatening anybody, apparently Mr. RD had identified Big 30's actual Instagram handle and said that he was present at the scene of the crime. I bring this up to say this is a big discussion point right now in terms of, did Gucci Mane snitch here, right? Like, in the complaint by the U.S. government, it's claiming that Roderick Davis had identified Big 30 as being present in the crime scene that he's being charged for. And he had also told authorities or pointed out Pooh Shiesty, saying that he was ironically wearing a Shiesty mask. But now that the dust has settled and the US government has actually filed a formal complaint detailing this entire story, let me cap this off by giving you guys basically what it says in this complaint and what the government is saying really went down. So this all happened in Dallas on January 10th, 2026. Prosecutors say that Gucci Mane flew to Dallas on that day for what he believed to be a business meeting with Pooh Shiesty about getting Pooh out of his 1017 contract. But instead, of course, it turned into an armed kidnapping and robbery. Gucci Mane arrived with 2 associates in security. Again, one of the associates allegedly being a cameraman that Seti Nash alleges was trying to shop the footage of this incident around behind the scenes, and the security guards actually being allegedly undercover police officers. So Gucci goes with these these people to this studio session that allegedly Pooh Shiesty's father had set up with the owner of the studio. It's important to note also that I believe Pooh Shiesty's father was Pooh Shiesty's manager. So it makes sense that he would be at a meeting like this, right? Pooh Shiesty shows up with 8 other people in total, including, again, his father and the rapper Big 30. Gucci Mane inside the studio goes into a private recording room with Pooh Shiesty, Pooh's father, and Big 30. Prosecutors say that Pooh pulled out his contract release papers and demanded Gucci Mane sign them. But when Gucci Mane refused to do so, the complaint says that Big 30 actually ended up bringing Pooh Shiesty a bag which contained an AK-style pistol. Pooh Shiesty pulled it out and then put it to Gucci Mane's head, forced him to sign the release papers, had Big 30 record the entire series of events, then ended up taking Gucci Mane's wedding ring, watch, earrings, and his cash. Pooh Shiesty's father allegedly reviewed the paperwork that Gucci Mane had just signed to release Pooh out of his contract. Then he told Gucci Mane that the contract actually needed a date, and Gucci was forced to add that as well. At the same time, prosecutors say that the rest of the group, again, because Pooh Shiesty came with 8 other individuals, they pulled guns on Gucci Mane's associates in the other room. One victim was robbed of his wallet, his chain, and his 1017 necklace. Another one was choked nearly unconscious and robbed of a Rolex, a Louis V bag full of expensive watches, AirPods, and his wallet. And the complaint says that Big 30 blocked the studio door so nobody could escape. The security guards outside were outnumbered, and the victims believed that they were about to be killed. Pooh Shiesty then allegedly put a gun to the back of one of the victims' heads and ordered him and Gucci Mane out of the door, while the rest of the group left through another exit. The FBI says that they built this case through surveillance, car records, cell phone data, ankle monitor data, because again, Pooh Shiesty had an ankle monitor on. He was on probation. There was also hotel footage, fingerprints, AirTag tracking, and Instagram. Remember, again, it states in the complaint that Gucci Mane had identified Big 30 and Pooh Shiesty via their Instagram pages. Investigators say that suspects were traced in a rented Buick, a Dodge Charger Hellcat, and a Dodge Ram. Several of them traveled from Memphis. That's where Pooh Shiesty was on home detainment, and they traveled to Dallas all together, and some even stayed afterwards at a Comfort Inn hotel. Fingerprints from red Solo cups at the studio matched 2 of the suspects, and there were even Instagram posts that allegedly showed some of these suspects flashing cash, jewelry, and a Rolex that was believed to be one of the stolen watches from the altercation. So the government's theory is that Gucci Mane was lured to Dallas under the pretense that this would be a meeting about Pooh Shiesty's contract, but then of course he was forced at gunpoint to sign Pooh Shiesty's release papers and then robbed along with all of his other associates, which is why all 9 men who were at the studio with Pooh Shiesty at the time are now charged with kidnapping and conspiracy to commit kidnapping. And all in all, you guys, this is just an incredibly sad situation. Pooh Shiesty had tons of potential to be one of the biggest stars in hip-hop today if he just stuck on the path that, ironically, Gucci Mane probably wanted him on. Being confined to his home, having all these restrictions due to his previous case, all he had to do was spend his days in a studio recording music instead of being in a studio holding his former mentor at gunpoint. Allegedly. And the irony in this entire situation is that while Pooh Shiesty may see more success within the streams of his music than he's ever seen before, just due to the sheer controversy and discussion that this situation will bring in, the only individual who will end up eating off those streams is Gucci Mane, the very same Mane who Pooh Shiesty wanted out of his business. Absolutely insane situation, but let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you in the next one.
I study rap for a living.